Hello everybody, welcome back to Farming Simulator with me, Not Too Old Gamer. Today we've got a tutorial to do. One of the big things that's really kind of irritating about sugar beets and potatoes in Farming Simulator is to hire a worker to harvest them. You have to buy the big machines, right? You can't hire a worker to use the topper and the harvester independently with a tractor. You have to hire a worker. You can only hire a worker through the game if you buy the big Maxtron 620 in the case of the sugar beets, or for potatoes, same thing. The cutter, the 2-meter cutter and the 2-meter harvester won't do it. You need the Tectron 415 before you can hire a worker in the game. Courseplay changes that. You can define a course for a worker to take a tractor and drag these across the fields. So we're going to learn how to do that today. First things first, the horsepower requirements. So I've got a field of sugar beets ready to harvest. I've obviously already bought the equipment. You can see this guy needs 99 kilowatts of power plus 45 kilowatts of power, 144 kilowatts. If we look at tractors, there's a couple that'll do it. You don't always have to have everything. That's a good rule of thumb to kind of get you in the right general area. I like the Case Puma for it. You could do it with the Fortis 190. I've had some trouble with the Fortis and the Ursus, mainly the Ursus. It actually did a really odd behavior. I might do just a fun video on that later, but I like the Puma for it. So let's start it off. First thing to consider about sugar beets is when you look at them on the map for what state they're in, you'll see they're ready to harvest, but it's remove tops, right? So you've got to have a topper. This right over here is that topper, and you can hook him up to the front or the back of the tractor. For the purposes of this particular tutorial, I'm going to hook him up to the front because I want to hook this guy to the back. Alright, so now I have a sugar beet harvested machine. Now, next up, I've got sugar beets ready to go here on field 29. And you can see that they're ready. Alright, so let's load up Courseplay. First off, clear everything out. We're going to use fieldwork mode right here. And the first thing we're going to do is do course generation. So for the edge path, I'm going to use field 29. I auto-scanned the fields when I started the game, and field 29 is one of the edge paths. Now, if you don't recall, this cutter has a working width of 3 meters. This harvester has a working width of 3 meters, right? So let's use 3 meters as our now if you're on the potatoes, it's a little different. It's 3.3 meters and 2 meters, so you'd actually use 2 meters in that case. But for the sugar beets, the cutter and the harvester match at 3 meters. So let's use 3 meters. That seems like a good place to start. For our course, we're going to start. You can see we're starting at the southwest corner. So we'll click there, and our starting direction is north. Okay. Now headland is interesting. If I just generate course like this, it's going to give me a zigzag course running straight up and down. So let's look at what that looks like. Right, you can see the course kind of up and down, up and down, up and down, all the way across at a 2-meter width. That's perfectly fine. Let's do something a little different. So I still want field 29. Now let's do headland options. So the first thing I want to do is a clockwise headland followed by the zigzag, and let's do 4 rounds of that, and let's see what that looks like. Check that out. So now it's going to run around the field a few times and then do the zigzag. Why is that important? Well, let's say we were over on field 24. There's not a lot of room on the north edge to turn around, so if I was needing to turn around there, I usually harvest the field the other way, but if I was needing to turn around there, I wouldn't necessarily have room. So, let's try this out. I think I'm going to do it because this guy has some trouble with the turns. It misses things on turns because of the way the harvester is set up, and because I've got room to make the turns. I'm not going to do this with headlands. I'm going to just set it up to use field 29, 3 meters, southwest, going north, return to first point deactivated, and headland is turned off. So generate course. We're going to save this course as F29 harvest at 3 meters, and save it and drive it. Now you'll notice, just because of the way it started, some of that first area was missed. We'll go back and catch that at the end, but you can see the beet harvester is working just fine harvesting those beets. And that's how you do it. That's how you do a hired worker harvesting beets without buying the large piece of equipment, and harvest fields with Courseplay. So you can see here on the turn. On the turn, it's not going to be able to turn sharply enough to get all the way back. So what you're going to see is it's going to miss up a pretty good chunk and cut back to pick it up. You will have some work to do at the end of this, cleaning up the field edges, but it's not as bad as doing the whole thing manually. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial.